Alright guys, welcome back. So this is where we finished off last time, and in this video let's have those buttons working so we will be able to remove from friends and add to friends. And then at the end we will also style this so it looks a little bit better than the way it looks now. So yeah, let's get started. We worked last time on the profile list HTML. And here is the code that you basically see over here. And let me do some very quick fixes right now. So this if statement can actually be at the top. And I'm going to bring and if at the end. Okay. So now we are simply going to display a certain form if a certain condition is met. And the same thing we will do over here. Okay. And then the end if will go at the end. All right. So now I'm going to save this, and this is a little bit better organized. And for both cases, for both forms, which are regarding adding to friends or removing from friends, we have the same profile PK. So if you saw my yesterday's video on how to follow users, which is an addition to this social network project in Django, you probably noticed that over there we have also profile PK for both forms, one for the follow and the other one for the unfollow. The difference over there is that we had simply one view that handles following and unfollowing. Here we will have separate views for adding to friends and removing from friends, and also when we are going to be dealing with removing from friends, we will have to go to our signals, and we have here post add to friends. This is okay, but we will have to create another one for deleting friends. So yeah, let's jump into Views UI and let's scroll all the way down. And over here what we are going to do is to create a function view called send invitation, which takes in a request. And basically what we need to do over here is to create a relationship. So we know who is the sender. We are sending the invitation, so we are the sender. And we simply need to choose the receiver. And this is going to be our profile PK. Based on the profile PK, which we will get from our profiles list, if we go to our add to friends form, here we have a profile PK. So this is the value of obj PK, and based on this PK we are going to get the receiver, and then we are going to create a relationship and set the status to send. This way the add to friends will turn into waiting for approval. So let's do this right away. It shouldn't be difficult. So first of all we want to ask if request method is equal to post. And if this is the case, we want to simply get the primary key. So we need to write down request post get and then the name, which was the profile PK with the assigned value of obj PK as we saw over here. Okay, so now we have the primary key, and we can simply set our user to be request.user, and then we need to define the sender and the receiver. So as mentioned before, we are the sender, so we need to grab our profile objects get, and we want to get it by the not the primary key but the user, and the user, to the user field we are assigning this user, and with the receiver we are going to get the profile by the primary key. So objects get, and then we are assigning to the primary key field the PK that we got from our form. All right, so now we have the sender and the receiver. So the next step will be to simply create the relationship. So let's define another variable called rel, and here we need to put in relationship objects create, and we want to put in the sender as the sender, the receiver as the receiver, and then the status will be set to sent. Okay, and this way we created a relationship, and we simply need to return redirect. Okay, we want to stay on the same page, so let's put in return redirect. We didn't import redirect, so let's do it from Django shortcuts. Return import redirect, and now we can put in redirect, and in order to stay on the same page we need to put in request meta get and then HTTP referrer. Okay, and this should be in quotation marks. All right, and if we are not dealing with the post request, we by accident access this URL, which we are going to register in just a second. We want to also be redirected somewhere, so I'm going to put in return redirect, and let's see what do we have in our URLs py. Maybe for now let's just grab the first one. So we want to go to profiles and my profile view. All right, so now I'm going to save this, and we are going to jump now back to URLs py, where we are going to register this view that we created a second ago. So I'm going to import send invitation, and let's define a new path. I'm going to put in send invite, send invitation, and the name will be send invite. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to simply copy the name. Of course, we need to save the URLs py, and then let's jump to the profiles list, and here we need to find the form which contains the add to friends button and provide in the action a URL. So let's put in URL, and then the name of the apps is profiles, and then where do we want to go in this profiles apps? We want to go not to my profile view. I didn't copy the send invite. Let me do this again. So let me try out again. Send invite, and now I'm going to save this and hit refresh, and something didn't work. Path. Okay, so I made a mistake in the URLs py. Path, save, refresh, and let's add test user 4. Add to friends, and profile is not defined, so let's go back to, okay, over here I made a mistake again. Sorry about this, guys. And let's refresh, and let's add test user 4 again. And profile query does not exist, so this is not my day. Okay, over here I made another mistake. Profile pk. Oh, sorry guys, really sorry about this. Hopefully now everything will be okay. Let me refresh. I'm scared to click this button, but let's do this. Let's see if this is working, and we have waiting for approval. It jumped up, but we won't worry about this just right now. We will style this at the end of the video. The most important thing is that this is finally working. So again, I'm terribly sorry about all the silly mistakes. Yeah, and we have our send invitation working. So right now we can actually handle the second case, which is remove from friends. So let's create another function view called remove from friends. And this will also take in not the sender, but the request. All right. And here the situation will be just a little bit more complicated than in the send invitation, because we don't know who is the sender and who is the receiver. The relationship exists, but we don't know if I invited a particular user or a particular user invited me. So we have to grab the relationship in a little bit more advanced way. The second thing is that once we get the relationship, we have to, of course, delete it. But we also need to remember to delete that particular profile from our friend list, and also us from that particular profile's friends list. So this is what we are going to do with the use of this function view, and we will need some help that we are going to receive from signals. So once we are done with this function view, we are going to jump into signals and do some additional logic over there. For now, let's focus on this function view. So what I'm going to do is to grab those 5 lines of code, copy them, and paste them over here to this remove from friends. And yeah, so we have the primary key, we have the user, the sender is us, and the receiver is the profile that we want to remove from friends. But the case over here with the relationship is a little bit different, because as mentioned before, we don't know who invited who, okay? So we need to make a little bit more advanced lookup. So I'm going to define again a rel where we are going to have a relationship objects get, and we are going to use q lookups. So I'm going to import q from Django db models. We want to import q. Okay, and with q we can make some more advanced lookups. So what we want to do is to write down q, and the sender in this case scenario is the sender, and q receiver is going to be the receiver. So this is a very simple case scenario where we invited somebody and then we changed our mind, something didn't work out well, and now we want to delete this particular person from our friends list. Okay, so this is what's happening over here, and this is the case scenario number 1, and we will have next to it another one, the reversed one, where the q sender is going to be the receiver, and where the q receiver is the sender. Okay, so let me put a parenthesis over here, and let's close this over here. So in this case scenario, somebody invited us, we accepted the invitation, and yeah, we simply don't want to be no longer friends with this person, so we simply want to remove this guy from friends. So here we invited somebody, the invitation was accepted by the receiver, and now we changed our minds and we want to simply delete the relationship, and here we received an invitation from another person, we accepted the invitation, and now we want to remove this person for some reason. And to make this happen, we need to put in rel delete, and then we can simply borrow the code from over here and put it over here. Okay, let's jump into urlspy and register this remove from friends view. So urlspy, we need to create another path. So here we will have remove friend, and this is going to be removed from friends, so we need to import remove from friends, copy, paste, and then remove friend. All right, so I'm going to simply save this right now, and we need to grab the name, so remove friend, and bring it into the profiles list, into our remove from friends, into the form where we have our remove from friends button. So over here, let's put an URL and then profiles remove friend. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to hit refresh. Okay, no errors. Let's jump into Django admin relationships. Here we have test user 2 with my user, okay, and it's accepted, so we will be working with the test user 2. I'm going to press remove from friends, and now we have both buttons, remove from friends and add to friends. And if I refresh, the relationship is gone. The problem over here is that if we take a look at the test user 2, if we go to my profile and take a look at the test user 2, it's still on my list, okay? This is why we are seeing both buttons. So now we need to use a signal in order to get rid of this user from my friends list. And yeah, let's jump into signals PY, and we will be using a pre-delete signal, okay? So at the bottom, we can put in a receiver. The signal will be pre-delete, and the sender is going to be the relationship. Let's write a function pre-delete remove from friends, and let's put inside the sender, the instance, and keyword arguments. And now we can define the sender. This is not going to be the sender over here. It's not going to be the relationship. It's going to be the instance of the relationship sender. Okay, so the relationship is defined over here. Here is our relationship model, and here is our sender. Okay, and this is a foreign key to the profile. So going back to signals, we are going to define the sender as the instance sender and the receiver as the instance receiver. Okay, so again, if we take a look at our models, here is the sender and here is the receiver. The sender is the relationship, so we can grab our sender and receiver just like that. And then what we want to do is to simply write down sender friends remove, and we want to remove who? We want to remove the receiver.user, okay? Because if we take a look at the many-to-many field in our profile, so let's go back to the models, and over here we have our friends. So this is a many-to-many field to the user. So in the signals PY, we need to put in not the receiver, which is a profile, we need to put in a user, okay? So this is how we can do this. And then a similar situation will happen for the receiver, so we can write down receiver friends remove, and we just need to put in sender user. And then let's put in sender save and receiver save, okay? So this should work. So before the relationship actually gets deleted, we are going to remove from friends. And if you would like to practice a little bit more signals, I created a tutorial on the channel called Signals for Beginners. So over there we are covering many-to-many changed, pre-delete, post-save, and pre-save. Okay, so if you are interested, you can go ahead and watch this video. And now I'm going to save this file. And right now I think we are ready to test this out. So what I'm going to do is to head over to the relationships. I'm going to actually retrieve this relationship with the test user 2. So let's say I'm going to be the sender, test user 2 is going to be the receiver, and I'm going to make the status as accepted. And over here we have remove from friends again. So now if I press remove from friends, we have add to friends. Okay, so now if we take a look at the relationship is gone. But if we take a look at the profiles, we can go to my profile, test user 2 is gone. And if we go to the test user 2's profile, my user is also gone. Okay, so this is working. And the last thing that we would like to do in this tutorial is to style this just a little bit better. So the waiting for approval will be always beneath the C profile, and the sizes will be equal of the buttons, and we will have some space between the C profile and add to friends. Okay, so yeah, let's get started on this. Let's head over to our static project folder. Let's find style CSS. And here we have margin bottom class, which we can use. And let's create beneath another one called maybe W as width big. Okay, and this is going to be, let's set the width maybe to 200 or maybe 250. Let's make it 200 pixels, and then let's add important. So now I'm going to save this, and I'm going to head over back to the profile list. I'm going to find the buttons. So here we have add to friends button. So I'm going to bring in MB5 and then W big, and I'm going to simply copy those classes and put them also in the disabled button and also to the remove from friends button. I'm going to save this, refresh, and also we need to apply this for the C profile. So here is the C profile button. Let's hit refresh. And then, okay, the size is equal. Now we have the problem with the waiting for approval. So I'm just going to put in a break line over here. And let's refresh again. And now everything is working the way it should. And yeah, I think we can finish off over here. We will continue in the next one. Thank you for your time. Sorry about the silly mistakes. And yeah. Thank you once again. Have a great day, and bye-bye.